God. Hi everyone. Hello, how are you? Hope you're taking care of yourself. Welcome back to my channel again. Yep, what are we doing here today? We are here to talk about what I did on my vacation. So if any of you by chance happen to follow me on Instagram,
Yeah, right.
don't worry, it's not a happening space yet. You're not missing out much, but you would know. I was on a short vacation. It was a long awaited, well planned, well saved vacation we had, and we went to the islands of Thailand. Okay, we're not rhyming today. But yeah, the trip was actually kind of different to what we usually do. We did not approach a travel company, we did not have any package. So we ourselves booked the flights, and the hotels, man, did it have our problems. Yeah, we didn't have anyone to blame. It was all ourselves. But we also had the most fun because we had so much options to do stuff by ourselves. It was a lot of leisure time. You can wake up late and you just roam around the city and not be tourists, right? So we did very less touristy stuff. We rented a scooty, we went in the metro, we went in the bus, and we ate from the streets. We even saw a movie. So it was that kind of a trip. So I had a lot of time to choose what I want to do. I did scout some bookstores. Okay, disclaimer, this is not a video telling you to go book shopping in Thailand, right? You don't go to bookshop in Thailand. If you do, you go there to have fun, you know what I mean. So that's what we did. But we also had some time where if you're in a mall, I made sure to check out the bookstores in there, if there's any used bookstores nearby, because we walked pretty much 10K every day. So we found stuff, right? So there are almost 5 bookstores that I visited, and I didn't buy much. It was very expensive, right? So this is just a video to show you my exploration, right? So I made it a deal that I try to at least understand the literary culture of when I visit a new city or a new country for that matter. So this is me trying to do that. I did the same when I went to Mumbai for the first time. So this is me trying to do it in a foreign country. So this is just a video to share that experience with you guys. And if at all you're someone like me, it might help you if you're traveling abroad, right? So that's all. So it's just a chill vlog. But at the end, I'll show you what I got from there, in fact. Okay, so let's get started, right? Oh my God.
Hold on. There's something different.
Okay, the sun didn't do me real good. I am tan. Okay, to start off, let me give you some context on how expensive the books are. So the currency, exchange rate is around 2.8, and it's like each and every simple paperback is from 350 baht to 650 baht. It's around like 900 to 1800 INR for one simple paperback. I know. We are so lucky that in India it's expensive and there are options to get books otherwise, right? So yeah, so everything that I noticed when I went into these stores about the people there, about what books they have put on their new arrivals, books they have put on in their recommendation shelves, what kind of books they read, what international books actually reach these countries. So these are the things that I'm looking out, and kind of the books that they actually recommend, right? So I did find 2 books that I was looking out for, and I bought them, but I did get a good deal. I am not buying books with thousands and thousands of rupees from there where I can get them very cheap here in India. So I didn't do that. I'll show you what deal I got in the end, right? Okay, let's not waste time and get into the vlog. Right, this is me being ignorant as hell, imagining all the bookstores would have English books. So the first bookstore I went is called C-Ed or S-E-Ed, and guess what? It was an all Thai bookstore, right? So I got in and was surprised to see none of it made sense because, of course, they didn't sell English books. So they redirected me to Asia Books in the same mall, and yes, they had international collections. What caught my eye was a stable display of a whole section of manga that's there. And of course, they also had an e-reader section. This is something new. We don't see people, or like in India, crossword selling, ebooks, right? But they had this section, and yeah, it did not have Kindle per se. I found it in a different place. Yep, and like always, I checked out what books were hit and what books were like the bestsellers there. As you can see, some of the familiar names. There were a lot of new releases that are coming out in April, May, which is already in bookstores. That's always good to see. And yeah, I did have a very good collection. Most of the TikTok famous books were in there, but this is where I'm realizing how expensive these books are. Like each of them, which are roughly 500 rupees in India, it turns out each of these simple paperbacks are at least 1000 rupees when you convert the currency, right? So, yeah, this is me just realizing I can't buy books from any of these bookstores. In a different mall, I found out this Kinokuniya, which is like the crossword. Here, it is like a chain of bookstores throughout a lot of Southeast Asian countries, and this one was so overwhelming when you step into it. You can see this is like a huge floor entirely dedicated to these bookshelves with plethora of books, all varieties in all genres that you want to think. There's aisles and cupboards and shelves filled with books that you would never find anywhere else. I mean it, because I found books that I've only seen on Kindle Unlimited, only seen released in the Europe and all of that. So yes, I did see different covers, as in the US version of many of the books that I love, and that was really interesting. So yeah, they did have fantasy fiction section, which was very impressive. The collection there, they had the whole series kept together. It was very satisfying to watch. And I found Gideon the Ninth and Paladin's Grace, and all of these books were just so close to heart for me. I found it there. This is me trying to figure out if there is any one book which fits into my budget so that I can buy something from here, because it was such a good place. All the books are actually plastic wrapped so that you don't get fingerprints or like some stains on it. Yeah, these are the Paladin's Grace latest paperbacks that are out there. They were way too expensive, guys. Yep, I also found the Gideon the Ninth series. I have not read this yet because I feel that it would help me if I read it in paperback. And under the bestsellers, you had Fearless and Sunrise and the Reaping and all of that. Can you believe I'm trying to read Hunting Adeline for a video? Oh my god, it's horrible, guys, so far. Yeah, you can see all the TikTok famous books. And of course, I found the whole series of Magnolia Parks. And the covers, the beautiful US covers that I'm obsessed with. I've only read the first book, but I don't know if there's any chance for me to get these covers, these ones specifically. If you guys know anywhere I can get them, let me know. And yep, of course there's a Colleen Hoover shelf, the movie's out and all that. And you see that intermezzo with a very different cover. I've never seen that particular cover anywhere else. I've seen, the art copy is something else, but this is different. This one, right there. The third store I went was solely because of how it was arranged. The aesthetic is what drove me. It was also inside a mall. It was inside a central mall. In B2S Think Space, they have this incredible bookstore which displays like a book cave. So they have reflecting mirrors on the floor and the ceiling, and they have this archway filled with books. Let me tell you guys, it was magical being inside, right? And I don't know, I didn't find the right angle to capture, like to get a good picture from here, because it was a little bit, dizzying being inside. But yeah, it was such a pretty bookstore. Of course, it was still expensive. It was kind of like it was a mass marketplace, and they had all sorts of stationery, ebooks, everything in here. But they also had a lot of English books here. It was an international store. It sold all sorts of languages. And I found some of the Booker Prize winners, and again, TikTok books, all of them in here. Alright, the last bookstore that I had in mind, I saw this the day I arrived when I was coming in the cab. It was called Dasa Book Cafe. It was this tiny little store. When I later googled it, found out it's only a used bookstore, but they have the best collection of CDs and DVDs. How vintage is that? You know, I mean, it's not vintage. I lived in the time of CDs, but right now it's vintage. So the store was just, such what to say, cozy place to be in. The smell of wooden floors and the books, and especially their old books. So you know how it would smell. And yeah, they had this great interior. You had a small coffee space, and the collection of books here is to be talked about. They have books from all around the world, all languages. I found Hindi books here, guys. I found Chetan Bhagat books here. This is in a different country, and it's a used bookstore. And the guy there was talking about how he would, collect books from travelers around the world, and they would just leave it here, and people, like me, would come from a different country and pick it up. So it was just the experience of it. And they had some different genres that I've never seen in other bookstores, like folklore, languages, like spy work. That's a category they had. They had memoirs. All right. So I hope you guys enjoyed that small vlog. It was actually a very good experience, finding out how bookstores look like in different country, and what their priorities are, how much of English books they read, and stuff like that. So the only place where it was affordable and they had a good collection I was looking out for was, in fact, the last bookstore that I went to. It was the Dasa Book Cafe. It was like a very, very old book cafe. It was like at least 50 years old. This is what it was like advertised on. I actually checked that. That's not a fact. That's me assuming it. But the place had incredible, CD collection. They had DVDs. They had used books on different genres, and they had a whole section of banned books. And it was strictly forbidden not to film or take pictures. I only saw the board after I filmed 2-3 clips, so that's what you'll be seeing. But otherwise, I didn't get to film anything. It was 3 floors spread across. They had memoirs, they had fantasy, they had nonfiction, they had horror, folklore, the kind of genres you don't see in Indian bookstores were there. So yeah, they had a section for languages, and I found a lot of Indian writing, and would you believe I found Hindi books? Yeah. So they had a very world-rounded collection there. So the books that I got, one that I was looking out to buy whenever I go to a used bookstore was this one classic that I really wanted to read. It's Emily Brant's Wuthering Heights. Yeah, I have not read this. Yeah. I don't claim to be this huge book, I claim to be an enthusiast, but I have not read a lot of famous, legendary classics. So I have not read Picture of Dorian Gray. I have not read Shakespeare's works. So now that I am into this hobby really, really deep, I feel like I have the patience to read classics, and I got this very loved annotated copy of Wuthering Heights. So I thought I'll read this. I don't know who annotated this. Someone in some part of the world read this book and wrote his or her thoughts. So I find that very, really humbling. At the same time, it's I don't know, I feel really good if I find a book someone else has annotated. So yeah, and these books were on a good deal, around like 100 to 120 baht. So that was the cheapest it went, right? That is the cheapest version that you get. So I have Wuthering Heights. And the second book I got was, like, again, something that I had on my Amazon cart for a long while, and it's hard to get these books delivered, and they were pricey before the latest paperbacks were released. It is this Wari McFlarren's Between Us. I have read another book from her, which is Mad About You. Now, I know some of my subscribers are also Hailey fans, and I'm also a fan of her. I started watching her vlogs, like, second time around. So she's a huge fan of Wari McFlarren, and it's from Hailey's recommendation that I read Mad About You, and I loved it. And this is the second book that I'm reading from Wari McFlarren. Her books are available in India. They are a little bit on the pricey side, so which is why I got this one. She is not a very up and coming author. She has been around for some time. She has a huge backlist that we can read if we end up loving this. So I got this. So these were the two books that I did in fact buy from Thailand and Bangkok specifically, and these are going to be my souvenirs, and I'm going to annotate on top of these books, adding to what someone else somewhere around the world thought about these. So that is my short haul from Thailand.